Beating market estimates in some quarters where total revenue fell back 17.5% against a 23.4% expectation. Still, though, the business is under significant pressure, and one can only say it's been a challenging year for the company, Kris.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, definitely. 2010 was a challenging year for most telcos in Nairobi or in Kenya, and we were no different from the rest. I think obviously the competition has heated up, and we needed to make some changes to our business model and our business plans and our growth projections.
Let's take a look at that revision to strategy, because you're moving away from the low-margin hardware sales business to concentrate on recurring service revenue in the IT division specifically. It's early days yet, but how do you see this revision paying off?
Well, basically, as you know, the IT division was an acquisition which we made after we went public in 2007. We bought it in 2008, and in 2009 we realized that as much as the revenues were very high, the margins were too low. So 2010, the drop that you saw in the 2010 figures was expected because we just refused to do business which didn't make profitable sense to the company. So far, what we've seen in the change of strategy has been very positive. We've been able to move the business out of the red towards break-even, and we believe without any fail in 2011 you're going to see profitability come from the IT division.
Speaking to brokers, they constantly differentiate between your corporate client base and then residential business segment as well, emphasizing possibly a stronger reliance on the corporate side of things. Interesting though, because when we're looking at the numbers today, it shows a bigger growth on the residential segment of the business. So what's your positioning within these two markets right now?
Well, you will see a bigger growth in terms of customer numbers on the residential side. That's because it's much easier to acquire residential customers, and the value is lower, and so you will get more numbers. But if you see the jump in the corporate numbers being much less, the ARPU over there, the average revenue per client, is much higher. So we are still 82% a corporate-focused company. That's where our revenues come from. Residential the SME part is growing, but you will see the revenue in terms of profitability to the company, then corporate is our forte.
Of course, Kris, this is in a very competitive environment, and we've seen the fact that you've managed to realize better margins as a result of lower bandwidth costs being enjoyed by the company. Just how competitive do you see Access becoming in an environment where we've got a player like Safaricom just increasing the heat?
Well, as you know, Safaricom competes probably more on the mass end of the market. Our pricing is very competitive when it comes to the corporate and the enterprise part of the market. We have seen in the last 6 months increased users or clients who are moving from the mass market towards SME, and people who are moving off our, specifically Safaricom, to Access Kenya. So it's actually been positive having them in the market, in the mass end of the market.
While you've got positives there, we've got finance, depreciation and forex costs that continue to plague, and that eroding the gains that have filtered through on the margin side of things. We know that the company still has exposure to dollar-denominated loans. Are you whittling away at that exposure where we've seen a weakness of the shilling filtered through and the buyers for further weakness moving forward?
Well, basically, yes, we still have some exposure to foreign currency issues. However, it's much less. The risk on it's something that is mitigated by our dollar earnings. So although the shilling may be losing ground, we have enough dollar inflows to cover our dollar positions right now. So there is no much of an executional risk over there. In terms of depreciation, as you know, it was our first year having deployed a massive infrastructure, and so that was also expected. Most of the positions in terms of interest rates have also now been renegotiated.